Our cover story tonight is from Syria. The conflict there is all set to enter a more dangerous phase. Last week, Turkish forces crossed into Syria. They're attacking the Kurdish fighters who control North East Syria. Turkey calls the Kurdish fighters terrorists. There is a deep-seated hostility between Turkey and the Kurds, mostly because the Kurds want a separate homeland. Turkey is killing them in Syria now. Turkey wants to create a buffer zone at the border stretching a little over 30 kilometers. Turkey says it will rehabilitate Syrian refugees in this zone after clearing it of the Kurds. Here's what's happening on the ground. Turkish forces have struck as many as 6 targets in northeast Syria. These locations were under the control of the Kurds. Reports say the Syrian forces have moved into 2 towns. They're boosting their deployments. American forces withdrew from 2 positions on the 7th of October, that's last week. There have been massive casualties in this fighting. It's hard to put a number, but most estimates say hundreds of people have died. Turkey says it has killed more than 500 Kurds. 122 pro-Turkish fighters and 8 Turkish soldiers have also been killed. The United Nations says 160,000 people have fled their homes in the past week. But another report says that this number can be as high as 250,000. The Turkish offensive has further muddled the Syrian civil war. It's a war that has been going on for more than 8 years now. The Kurdish forces that control northeast Syria have an old rivalry with Turkey. The Kurds fought the Americans against the ISIS. Syrian forces are reportedly now moving in to fill the vacuum left behind by America. It's a grand mess, as I've been saying, and it's claiming more lives. America's decision to abandon a reliable ally continues to fishtail. First, Donald Trump gave the green light to Turkey for this incursion in Syria. And now the very same Donald Trump is threatening to ruin the Turkish economy. Obliterate is the word he used. On Monday, America announced sanctions on Turkey. It has slapped higher tariffs on steel for Turkey. It has suspended talks for a $100 billion trade deal. The Trump administration now feels that Turkey went too far. The fact is that America's U-turn has turned one of Syria's most stable regions into a battleground again. The Turkish offensive has opened the doors for the resurgence of the Islamic State, the ISIS. The ISIS, remember, doesn't have a territory right now, but it has people, it has sleeper cells. And reports say that many ISIS terrorists have fled from Syrian jails after Turkey began attacking the Kurds. Nearly 1,000 prisoners with suspected ISIS ties escaped from a camp on Sunday. These prisoners were being guarded by the local Kurdish fighters. Most of them have fled due to Turkey's offensive. Fighting still continues in towns near the border. The Syrian forces are taking control of a number of these towns. For years, remember, the Syrian forces were being kept away by the Kurds. But now America's move to abandon the Kurds has resulted in new alliances. So the Kurds are now with the Syrian army. Turkey says it now controls around 1,000 square kilometers of this territory. It wants to send up to 2 million Syrian refugees back home.
As of this morning, we have liberated approximately 1,000 square kilometer area from the terrorist organization's occupation. God willing, in a short while, we will secure the area from Manbij to our border with Iraq. And initially, we'll provide 1 million, then 2 million. Syrian refugees to return to their homes by their own choice.